of like two fires, movement so graceful. Wildcat in the jungle with dangerous claws. Movement she anticipates, a sight is set on her prey. Like stars in the darkest night, crystallize, fascinate. If you wanna stay alive, if you don't wanna be her prey, don't stand in her way. Run.
Hello, welcome to another TSN Sandbox mission scripting broadcast. I've just been working on the mission script a little bit. Last time you were watching, if you watched broadcast number 2, you'll have seen me working on this AI code for creating this patrol route. I've gone ahead and done a little bit of work on this already, so I'll show you what I'm doing. I've just duplicated everything because this is going to be for each possible letter that patrol could be, so whether it's like group A, group B, group C, so I'm just working on that. This digit cycle only needs to be part of the overall patrol because it will affect every single one of these. It's not dependent on the letter. Then I've added this variable in here, patrol 1 letter, and it sets to the letter number if it's the letter number. So letter A is letter number 1, letter B letter number 2, and that patrol letter 1 is set when you create the patrol route and you spawn the enemies, or the things that are going to use that patrol route. So patrol letter 1 is set to the letter prefix here. So I might need to look at how that sets and whether that sets in the correct place or not. Hopefully that music's alright. I'm just going to double check on the stream on my end. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so yeah, when you are in the GM console and you start placing your patrol markers, that's where it will set that patrol letter 1 to the letter prefix. And it'll also set the patrol number to +1. So at the minute, this is all code for just 1 patrol, and I was thinking of doing up to 3 patrols. So I might have to have something here that's like, if the patrol number is 3, then you can't do this, because that's the maximum that you've reached, or it'll cycle back to 1 and pop up with a warning. So I'll have to look at that. So you spawn all your markers, gets all the data that you need and sets it to the right patrol number, and then it removes the markers, so it's all recorded, so that's ready to go. And then say you spawn your hegemony force that you want to patrol. So you got your Krellians, for example, like a Krellian light fleet. It'll spawn that, and it'll set the AI, and then I've got this AI override down here. That AI override is going to be activated because of the patrol. So if I go back up to here, where are we? AI override is 1, so it's going to override the standard AI that it sets in this auto AI type. It's going to set the auto AI type to the AI setting, which is 150, and then what it'll do is it'll go up here and check for that, and AI 150 is this one. So it will set all that, and it'll name it over and over and over. And then what it'll do is the ships will start moving on their patrol route using this code here. So I need to change that to throttle 1, say, so they actually move. So they'll start moving on the patrol route towards the first coordinate that you've entered, and it'll check to make sure the ships in that patrol or in that group exist. So if they don't exist, it's going to cycle all the way through to check if they exist, and then if they do exist and the patrol 1 has the letter number of 1, which is A, So this will be object A, object A. I'm not sure if I need that there, but I think we might do. Then what it's going to do is it's going to go through and it's going to reassign the AI stack to all the possible combinations of letters. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to add some set pop-ups to these so I can see which ones are activating and which ones aren't activating. So I'll have a pop-up in every single one of these perhaps, just to make it a little bit easier to follow. Turn the sound off that. Alright, so like I say, what I was doing now was, you can see it's got letter name in brackets there, and it also has letter number in brackets there. I need to go through and I need to replace the letter name for this one with A and letter number with 1. So this will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. I've got S. So these have to move one at a time, which is annoying. T. You might want to skip ahead a few minutes here. So I need W, X, Y, Z. So what I did to speed up my copying and paste, because if I tried and copied and paste these two in the mission editor, it wouldn't copy anything inside them, it would just copy the actual folders, which is a little bit annoying. It makes this a bit more tedious. So what I did was I created about half of what I needed in here. Where have you gone? Created about half of what I needed in here, copied and pasted the file down here, and I just dragged and dropped. So I should have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, X, Y, Z. Good. I'm going to delete that because I don't need that anymore. I'm going to copy and paste one more of these, so I've still got one with letter name, and disable everything. That way, if I need to work on it, I can still use the find and replace with the letter name. And now what I need to do is go through and call that A, call that B, call that C, just with a find and replace. So here's my find and replace box. And I'm going to do it with the capital A. So in there it's going to replace with capital A. Again, you might want to skip forward on this because I've got to do this for every letter. B. That's if you're watching it back. If you're watching it live, I'm afraid you can't skip forward. You're just going to have to enjoy the music in the background while it continues. So each patrol here will be a group of ships with one of these letters as its prefix. The way that the random code works, when you spawn a group of ships, it will give it a single letter prefix, and then the two letters after it will be randomly generated. So you end up with a group called A, and then A11, A53, A62, something like that inside that group, but they'll all have that prefix A. Just makes it a lot easier for the AI coding for a start. And it's quite nice as well on the science screen, I think, to have all the ships within the same fleet have the same letter prefix. It's almost like the ship sensors have identified and assigned that group with that letter, and then just randomly assign the digits. And in the TSN RP community, what we do then is we'll say, right, this ship go attack group Alpha, this ship go and attack group Lima, this ship go and attack group Golf, and they'll go and attack those particular groups. So my actual fandom replace results are off screen at the minute, but I'll bring those on so you can see. Let's squash them down here. So you can see it's replacing quite a lot of code, and that's just been duplicated over and over. If you saw my last video, you'll have seen me duplicating that code. The queue. And then I'll go back through and I'll do the letter number and I'll replace it with a number to correspond with that. So this kind of idea I learned from doing the random naming system that I added to this, so that when you spawn ships that were randomly named, I came up with this way of this like first number, second number, and randomizing it. None in that now to replace. So I did start duplicating all this, and I realized that if it doesn't work I'm gonna have to go back and redo it. That's why I've kept this patrol letter name here, just in case. I think it was letter number. So you can see there's like letter number here. So if the patrol 1 letter number is 1, it's basically this patrol A. So 1. And B is 2, C is 3, so I'll just go through and replace all these. And then it differentiates between which one it's going to look for. Again, you might want to skip ahead on this, it's just going through and replacing these numbers. And then I'm going to give this a test. It's 10. I did go on, by the way, while I was browsing online earlier, you get some new music, so there might be some new music in the background that was from a guy on SoundCloud called Oscar, let me see, Oscar Rilla something. Well, I can't see the description. Huh, that's annoying. I think it's Oscar Rilloraza. And I remember seeing a post from him on the TSN, on the Artemis forums about music that he was creating, I think it was just in the off-topic section, and I messaged him. It's quite a few years ago actually. I messaged him and said, would that be alright to use this for some videos? He said, yeah, go for it. So I went on recently again and downloaded a couple of bits of his music. If they come up, well, I've posted a link in the description to his SoundCloud. It's not very active at the minute. I don't think it's been active for a few years actually, but there's some nice tracks on there. I've picked out a couple. One was a nice long 8-minute track, which is good because all these other tracks are like 5 minutes long. So I think this one that's come on now is by Rilloraza. I think, is it? Alright, that's all of them replaced. So now if I look at Patrol A, it's starting to make a little bit more sense looking at it now. So this is another reason why I've kind of done this. So you can see I've got Patrol letter is 1, so if the Patrol letter is 1 and A, this and this doesn't exist, then go for this. The reason why I've added that in there is because the Patrol letter can be any of these. So like if it's Y, then it'll check for Y, but if it was Y and I didn't have this Patrol letter is 1, because down here, like if it's Y, if let's open this up, if Patrol letter is 25 and that object doesn't exist, then look for it. Here if Patrol letter is 1, in other words A, and it doesn't exist, then start looking for it. So the only reason why it's going to start firing off this code is if that exists, if that does not exist, and the first patrol is actually for that A group. Otherwise, without that, if that object doesn't exist, it's going to constantly search for it and then scan through it. And if it does exist, then it's going to be constantly looking for this. So if I had group A on its own standard orders, then what it's going to do is it's going to look for these, and when it finds it, it's going to start to try and reassign patrol 1. But with this patrol letter is 1, that's going to stop that happening, unless I want it to happen. Right then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some pop-ups very quickly to these different parts. Turn that music down a little bit, it might be a little bit too loud. There we go. So I'm going to add some pop-ups to these parts so I can see what's what. Messages. And then I'm just going to copy and paste the pop-up. Main screen. Observer. So if I set that bit up, set this bit up, and then I don't want it in this because it's going to check it as it cycles through. So I'm going to put it in here because this is when it'll step up 1. So if I paste. Here I'm going to have checking for patrol ships in there. So that's going to cycle through, that's going to pop up loads and loads until it's found it, and then it's going to stop. And then what I'm going to have here is reassigning to waypoint 1, reassigning to waypoint 2, waypoint 3. And then what I can see is when this occurs, I can see when it's going to start working on this reassign cycle. So this is just for bug testing, and what I'll do is I'll remove it once I've finished. And then it should step through this, patrol 1 letter, okay, and then I'll step through this. So what I'll do is I'll put a pop-up in here like reassigned AI, and that'll pop up until it's cycled all the way through. So reassigned AI waypoint 1, and then waypoint 2, waypoint 3. And again, it's going to pop up several times until this whole thing's finished, until this digit cycle's completed. But that will give me an indication of how many times it's doing it as well. I'm not bothered about it increasing the number. I'm going to have here just patrol change complete. It could have been like route change complete. It's literally just going to be a reference for when that cycle ends. So that will mean that that's all being reassigned. I want to go in here and I want to switch all this off because otherwise it's going to cause problems. So I'm just literally going to go in and disable all this code and then keep it. There we go, so that's all disabled now. Alright, so that's the first iteration of the control code. Let's see if it works. I'm just off screen at the minute. I'm opening up an Artemis client. So I've saved it, so that's fine. Artemis decides to open. Cool. 1 second client. I'll drag them across in just a second. So, just to check the routine, the GM goes in and he wants to have patrol route, so it sets an override and it sets the letter prefix that it's going to take, and then it starts assigning AI. Where does the letter prefix come in? Because I don't want it set to the wrong letter prefix, so find all. Complete name assign letter prefix +1. So the letter prefix occurs after the ships have had the name assigned. So that means that will be set to 1. Then that'll spawn, then it'll assign all their names here, and then it'll increase the letter prefix, right? So that should all be in the order. It should work. Okay. Start server over here. Start client. Here's my client. Here's my server. Game master, main screen, comms. So I've got the main screen because that's where the pop-up should be. Start there. Go here. Oh look, I didn't realise it came up on the normal screen. I have to make more use of those big messages. So, I wonder if I had all my references correct in the start block. Patrol number to 0. Now did I call that patrol 1 number? Nope. Alright, let's see what happens. So, in the master screen, I want to set up my patrol route. So I go into my spawn menu. I have one here, and one here, so I can get distinct to 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go default. Nope, set AI type patrol. So deploy marker 1 there. Deploy marker 2 there. Deploy marker 3. See, look, checking for patrol ships. That's interesting. So already looking for that, which means that which bit of code there is firing off. Checking for patrol ships because nothing yet exists. Because the patrol letter is now set to 1. Brilliant. Okay, so the patrol letter is set to 1, so that's worked. So deploy marker 3. There's all the 3 markers done. It would be interesting to know if that's still going. I imagine it is. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Hegemony, get a Hegemony fleet, and just get a light Corellian fleet. Okay, the game has crashed, so something's gone wrong there. So when I spawn that Hegemony fleet, those all appeared. AI type was set to 1. Then that happens because I've got the AI override on. Because the AI override is set to here. And that AI setting there is taken from here. This AI override should work fine, so let's check it's not the AI override first. ideally that would start firing after the AI has been assigned. So I need something in there. I think it might come from the random name system. I think I could drop that in there. So that as long as it's reassigning names, then that will fire. But as soon as name assign is 0, when that's finished, see, the name assigning comes after the AI has been set, so that it reads the code from top to bottom. So it reads up here and it goes, right, AI is 150, I'm going to set all those, then I'm going to reassign the names, and it skips through all the names for me. A name assign flickers between 2 and 1 here, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, until there's no more of those left, in which case it sets it back to 0. So if there's no more of those left, it sets it back to 0. So here, if that name assign is set to 0, then I don't need to trigger this. But if it's greater than 1 or equal to 1, then I do need to trigger this. So that'll set all that. I wonder if I can actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and paste it. I'm going to make it really simple so I can see that this has been assigned correctly on those ships. So I'm going to disable that, because that's the actual code I want to use. But here, I'm just going to have this point through. So I'm going to delete all that. And I'm going to delete all that. I wonder if I could make this a 2-step one, so that when name assign is 0, in other words, when the names are finished assigning, no, that won't work. Okay, let's see. Patrol 1 reassign only triggers when they've got to those points. Here's a problem. So this is going to keep firing when that ship's inside there. So I need that patrol 1. So I'm going to put another variable in here. Oops. So if it doesn't equal 3, then you can do this, but if it does equal 3, don't do this. Not equal 3, then you're allowed to do that. So if patrol 1 doesn't equal 3, and the patrol letter's 1, so this patrol 1 does not equal 3, I'm going to have to add to all of those, which is a bit of a pain. But it's just the way it is. 2. And then 1 here. So if it doesn't equal 1, then you're inside there and you exist. And the patrol letter's 1, then you're allowed to start reassigning. If it doesn't equal 2 and you exist, and it's inside that sphere and the patrol letter equals 1, you can start reassigning. Same with you. I don't know if I need these two because it can't be inside there if it doesn't exist. So I could probably take out those two. I'd probably take out those two and those two. This one, if the patrol letter equals 1 and it doesn't exist, if patrol letter doesn't equal 1 and that equals 10, first patrol number, have I got those set? First patrol number. See if I can find first pat number. Find all. So I need to set the first patrol number. That may be something that's breaking it. So it can be this. Needs to go in there, first patrol number. And then I need one for second patrol number. Because if that's never set, but it's trying to call on it down here, then it's going to break things, because it'll be calling on something that doesn't exist. Second patrol number. So second patrol number, first patrol number. Yep, 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 yep. See, it will have started checking for these, and it wouldn't have been able to find these because that didn't exist and that didn't exist, so it can't call anything back and it can't add one to anything, so it will just end up breaking. But this was firing, wasn't it? Checking for patrol ships. Maybe that is what broke it. We'll find out. Okay, so I've saved that. I'm gonna start up here again. Maybe it's because as soon as it needed to start doing something to it, that's when the problem occurred. Sorry, Game Master, not Captain's Map. Those are left over from the last server then. Right, activate GM, upper arc, Atlantis. Sector 1. So, spawn. I want it to be a patrol, so I'm going to deploy marker 1. deploy marker 2, deploy marker 3. So you look at clicking through, checking for patrol ships. Go to into hegemony fleet, Krillian fleet, light fleet. It's not renaming my fleet, it's just crashing. So as soon as I spawn the light fleet, it is crashing. So light fleet spawns, name assign goes to 1, random direction goes to 1, I don't really need that, auto AI type goes to 1, AI override. The auto AI type doesn't equal the AI setting, then set auto AI type to the AI setting. Let me double check that that override isn't causing problems. Because if that override's causing problems, then I need to look at that. If it's the patrol that's causing problems, then I need to look at that. I think I said I was going to do that earlier. I evidently didn't. 2, 3, 4. 4, 5. Okay. Just sign up another server. Every time it crashes on this one, you see it's actually crashing the whole server, so the server's going down. This, by the way, is separate to the one that's on that we use in the TSN sandbox. This is one that I use to script in my own Artemis folder, and then once I've checked it and it's working, I upload it to GitHub, and then people on GitHub download it from there and put it on our TSN sandbox. Put it on our TSN server. So I was going to check that the AI override was working properly. So I'm going to choose a different AI. So I've got like AI 2, AI 3, 4 and 5. So AI 4 for example. Now I'm sure that was working correctly. I'm sure I tested that already. Let's go for a really obvious one. Spawn a hegemony base. There like that. And then let's change the AI to guard stations. And I'm going to spawn a Krillian fleet. Yeah, you see, they've assigned the names fine. They're going to guard that station. Okay, so it's not the AI override. It is the actual patrol AI that I've added. Are there any conflicts here? All that's going to do if patrol error equals 2, all that's going to do if it's error equals 3. That shouldn't be there. Let's have a look at this. Digit cycle. That comes from down here in the AI key. So I borrowed this from the AI keys. digit cycle here. See? See how this works. So as long as that's reassign AI1, that's just checking the AI types, I think. So I don't need that reassign AI up here. Don't need that. Reassign patrol. So I wonder if this is my other problem. Reassign patrol 8. Those perhaps are the things that are not being set ever. So maybe that's my other one as well. Yeah, those are never actually being set at the start. So again, this is checking to see if it's greater than 10, and then it'll set it to something, but that never happens. And here it's got something and it's trying to add one to it, but that never happens. So actually I need these as well. Put them in there. Okay, that might be it. That might actually be the problem. Cross your fingers. Here we go. Start the server over there. Jump into it here. Activate GM. So over here, I'm going to very quickly. So it's F7 to cycle through these. You can see like the sandbox activation timers, the variables, reassign patrol. Those weren't set originally. That second patrol number, first patrol number is now set. In fact, I can show you by doing this. So second patrol number and first patrol number set. Those are set. These variables are all set as well. Letter prefix already set to 1. So actually now all the variables are set in the start block. So ready to go. So again, I'm going to go into spawn. I'm going to set AI to patrol. First patrol number is already searching through. Second patrol number is already searching through. I don't really want that happening, but can you see how they're stepping through anyway? And once they get to 7, 8, 9, that gets to 10. Oh, that's interesting. Second patrol number's still going. I don't want that to happen. Here it was. So that's what's happening there. It's counting all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When sorry, no, it's here. When it gets to 10, it sets that to 1, and then it gets back to 0. What I want it to do is when that gets to 10, it loops back as well. So actually I need another thing in here. Rename to check 3, so that when second patrol number is 10, I'll set second patrol number back to 0 and first patrol number back to 0. So I need that there. And then it'll start back over. Right, okay. Might actually take that as well. Drop it in here. So if it's less than 10, then you can step it up. When it hits 10, you set that to +1 and you back to 0. And when that hits 10, you set them both to 0. And then it'll go back to here. So that'll be a better cycle. There we go. And this is the next real part of writing this. It's now figuring out all the little niggles and bugs that you need to get rid of. So back into spawn, and we go to patrol. You can see it counting up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now second patrol number is going to get to 10, so they both get back to set back to 0. Good, excellent. And it's going to keep counting through until it finds a ship that has the right name. Right, so those 3 markers deployed. That's interesting. X and Z coordinates of patrol 1 haven't been assigned. Now why weren't they being assigned? I'm sure I tested that and I'm sure that worked. So we had this patrol number there. Patrol number to patrol number +1. Patrol number. So those should have been set after marker 3 had been done. Guess that should have fired, and then that should have fired, and then those should have been gathered. So that did work, but it didn't get the variables, and then it destroyed them because they did disappear. So why is it not gathered the variables? Patrol X1 patrol number. here, patrol X11. So it should have gathered them. So there's something wrong there with grabbing those variables. Which means there's probably something wrong here. Those were all comments, weren't they? Yeah, those were all commented out. So I wanted those. For all these, actually, maybe it's gotta be, so here, patrol number, that should all be patrol number 1. Oh, look at that. Oh. It's all the way through. Oh, great. Okay. I'm going to delete all these because these are all now useless. And what I'll do is I'll build it on here and I'll copy it into here and rename it all as I need. But yeah, it's this bit here. That bit needs to go in here. Because it's trying to assign stuff to things that don't exist again. This bit. Needs to go in here. Should really look out for these red flags a bit more, I think. This bit. Time we on? Not too bad for time at the minute. In here. This bit. In here. So that will be causing a crash, I imagine, because it's trying to add AI to something that's not there again. Little mistakes. If you are watching this back, this is very much how the sandbox coding works. Trying to weed out all these little mistakes with this. Bits that I might have missed, bits that I've named wrong, bits that don't make logical sense, and all these throttles are going to be set to 1 as well. Bit of a silly mistake to make, put that point throttle in and not really looking at it carefully. There we go. That's for waypoint 2, waypoint 3. It's interesting because this stuff probably wasn't firing anyway, but I think it will cause a problem, and if it's up in this patrol route here, then it's going to be causing a problem, and that's where the issue will be. But if it's then wanting to do it here as well, that's going to cause an issue. And I wouldn't be surprised if I've done it wrong there. Just needs a dash up here for this one. Although I'm sure I had double dashes in that one. Right, that's all that. So these throttles need to be set to 1 as well, actually. Nice thing is they're all highlighted red for me. From that find and replace earlier. Go through all this. One there. That's that one done. Okay. That one there. So I think from what I remember, the throttle is how quickly it accelerates up to its assigned speed. So if the speed of the ship is 0.6, throttle 1 tells you will gradually throttle up to speed 6, and once it gets to speed 6, it'll stop at speed 6. It's like going to warp 1 and you have that acceleration up to the maximum speed of warp 1. You don't just press warp 1 and suddenly you're up at warp 1. You press warp 1 and you increase your speed to it, and then you're at full warp 1. That's what this throttle does. So for those, I want them to move at impulse 0.6. They'll increase their speed to 0.6. There it is, look, see? For object with no name. Try 2 dashes. Now if that fixes it, I can go back and I can look at this code, I can fix up this and then copy and paste again. Let's just close that random name system down. Alright. Start another server, scripted game. This is on my other screen, by the way. So I've got a server running, I'm just going to have to reconnect. Game Master. Main screen. Just grab what comes. Comes always good to grab. Wait for the Game Master pop up to appear. There we go. Yeah, so if you try assigning AI to nothing, that's probably going to be causing a crash. Patrol. Deploy marker 1, deploy marker 2, deploy marker 3. It's checking for ships. I'm going to get my server screen across actually. So you can see it checking for ships. F7. That's the variables going up. You can see them ticking away there really nicely. My patrol number's at 1. Those might see, it's not got the patrol coordinates again. Why has it not got my patrol coordinates? Did I change them around? So it's no longer 1-1, it's... But then it should still have got 1-1, shouldn't it? Gather data. Patrol X1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. It's almost like that's not firing. But that must be firing because it removes the markers. Patrol route 2. So it's almost like those are not working. Get numeric property X from object with name 1, Z from object with name 1, and set it to that variable. Patrol number, what's my patrol number? Patrol number's 1. Is that because that patrol number needs to be an integer and it's a float? Patrol number is float, it needs to be an integer. Otherwise that's like 1.0 something. So it needs to be an integer. Come on, by the way. Not a float number. So it's a single digit instead of being a 2 digit. Because what it's doing is going for patrol 1-1, but patrol number's 1.0 instead of being 1. See, these are all integers and that's a float. So that's going to cause a problem there. Now we should see that change so that patrol number is now an integer, so it's now a single digit. Perfect. Because it's not interesting. I think these float numbers are not exact numbers. So if patrol number is 1.0 as a float, the zeros keep going, they disappear off screen, and then there's like a 3 at the end or something weird like that. Because it's never exactly 1, which I don't understand the reason why. I'm sure somebody out there does, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that would take a lot of time and effort to explain to me, but it'd be interesting to know, but it's never exactly what it should be. Right, anyway, so got somebody actually viewing, somebody's joined. I wonder if it's another bot that just wants to be my friend. That'd be interesting. So spawn, I'm going to get patrol, deploy marker 1, deploy marker 2. Oops, deploy. It would help if I click the right button. Deploy marker 3. Yes! Now we've got the data because that patrol number is set to 1. Excellent. Now I'm going to set. This is where we find out if it works. Light fleet. Yes! There we go. let's have a look at what AI they have. So I can go. I need a science screen. Science. Science. Point throttle at 000. Okay, so that bit's not being assigned either. Because now it's pointing at 0000. It is not pointing at patrol marker 1, which was there. Okay. It should be pointing. I go back here. Oops. Shouldn't have pressed that one. Never mind. See, it should point patrol X, patrol number. When do I set the patrol number to +1? Right here. It's here where I set the patrol number. So that should be patrol X1 patrol number. And then that should correspond to patrol X11, patrol XZ11, patrol see there, capital letter, see there, small letter. Have I got it all the way through here as well? Capital letter, right, okay. So if I go patrol X1, find oops, don't want that one. Patrol X, only in selected node. Find all. Patrol X. Match exact case. Patrol X1. Here we go. That's interesting. I need to go through there. Oh, that's because that's that. Ignore that. Replace with patrol X. Match exact case. Replace all. What does that come up with? Here we go. Patrol X. There we go. And then I need patrol Z. Patrol Z. Patrol Z. Getting there, getting there. Patrol Z. Good, good. Patrol X, Patrol Z, here. Patrol X, Patrol Z, all the way through. Good, right. So it was spawning, but it was not then giving it because that is not a capital and that was a capital. Now it's not. Start. Here we go again. So I've got my science screen this time. I've not forgotten it this time. It's another useful one. The reason why the science screen is useful is because that's where you see the brain stack for a selected object. As you can see, it says select target monster on primary player's ship. Science console to see brain stack. It doesn't necessarily have to be a monster, it can be anything you want. Obviously it doesn't work for players because players don't have a brain stack. But it does work for enemies. So, spawn. I want to watch my values. Now we've already seen these values working, so they should be fine, but I'm going to watch them anyway. So I'm going to spawn the enemies here. I'm going to have the first patrol marker here, the second here, and the third here. So set AI type patrol, deploy marker 1, deploy marker 2, in fact I'm going to have it over here, deploy marker 3. There's my patrol X and Z for marker 1, 2 and 3. You can also see over here it is searching for the ships to spawn and patrol numbers 1. Okay, so I said I was going to spawn them here. So hegemony, fleet, Krellian fleet, light fleet. I'm going to go to science console because there's my light fleet. Are they pointing where I want them to point? Not yet. Come on. Oh, you see, point throttle 0, 0. They are not pointing to where I want them to point. Okay. So, back to this. I am getting the right data. Because there's the data. So that's number 3. That's coordinates for number 2. That's coordinates for number 1. But then they are not using that data. Here. Let's change this. Let's change this patrol 1, 1. Patrol X 1, 1. And patrol Z 1, 1. Let's see what happens now. Did I save that? Did I save that? I did. There's no star up here, so it tells me it's saved. Okay. I'm sure on this music I added more music. Doesn't sound like I did. Sorry, I'm just looking at the music that I've got playing. Some of it's duplicated. That's why. Just gonna sort the music because it's I thought I'd added more, but it turns out I've duplicated a lot of music, so this is just off screen. I'm just fiddling with the music. There we go. Right, okay. Sorry, sudden change of music. It's, repeating more than I was expecting. Okay, so I was here. Let's go to Volantis. That'll do. I've got a nice line through there that I can follow. So I can have one there, one there, one there. So I'm going to go to spawn. I'm going to have patrol route, so I want them to go across here. So that's going to be my first marker, that's going to be my second marker, I want them to exit there, third marker. It's got the data, perfect. I'm going to go to hegemony spawn, hegemony fleet, hegemony fleet, light fleet, let's see. Doesn't look like they have got that information. Oops, F7, F7. Oh, they have. They've got the information. And you'll notice that checking for patrol ships is disappearing. So they should now be heading towards 7029.8, 68381. Which should be the same seven zero zero two nine 68381 70029. Is that the same as that? 70029 68381. Awesome, they're doing it. They're going to that target point that I've asked them to go to. Now obviously I need to make their brain stack a little bit cleverer. Like there'll be leader leads and follow leader and things, but A74 is now, yes. Are they following that patrol route? Oh, it's working. Nice, it is working. Now, when they get to that first marker, they should move to the second one, they should move to the third one. So it's going to be ages for them to do that. It's going to be absolutely ages. Right, so I'm going to set them a lot closer together so that I can see it a little bit quicker. So spawn. So I'll spawn them here. I'll get them to go to this first marker, so as long as that's more than 1,000, that should be fine. It'd be nice if I could measure that distance. AI type. Come on, AI type patrol. Deploy marker 1. So I'm going to spawn them here, they're going to go there. I'm going to deploy marker 2 here, so it's a really obvious change of direction. And then I'm going to deploy marker 3 here, so it's another obvious change of direction. Okay. Then I might actually spawn the hegemony here, so it's really obvious. Hegemony fleet, Skrillian, light fleet. So they are there. So I should see really obvious change of direction. You can see it says checking for patrol ships. Those are now clearing because it's got a ship with the correct name. And on my here on this, there should be first patrol number 5, second patrol number 3. So it's tracking Alpha 53 there, which is a bit irritating because that's the only one going off on its own. But if I go and I delete that ship, watch what happens over here. So I'm going to delete, where are you? Delete selected. So then it starts ticking through and it's going to find another ship to go from, which is probably going to be 9-7. There we go. It's stopped for 9-7 because it's now found, right, 9-7 exists, so I'm going to measure off 9-7 so that when 9-7's in that area, it's going to reassign the patrol location to some new AI. Where is it? Where's my AI? science. So you can see that. Okay. So once alpha 97 is inside the circle, what code did I have in there? 91397. See, we had when it's inside circle 1 with radius 1. You're gonna reassign. Look, it's done it. So they've just moved from here down to here. This is the exciting bit. You see, look, that's more like the AI stack that I'm wanting for them. So I want that. I prefer that AI stack because they'll react to stuff on that patrol route. But then you saw that reassigning AI. So they were going to go up to here, weren't they? Get the new patrol route and go down to here. And if I switch through for science, this one's the actual leader. So Alpha 1A is the leader, because over here it says I am the commander of the fleet. So it's given its own fleet destination to the rest of the ships. And its fleet destination is that point throttle. And if any player ships come within 800, then it's going to change its mind and it's going to go for those player ships. It's pretty cool. So what I need to do now is duplicate all that. I need to go back into that letter name. I need to update that with the code that works. Then I need to duplicate it all for any possible fleet. And then once I've done that, I can look at creating it for patrol number 2, patrol number 3, and patrol number 4, and on like that. So then you could have 3 patrols, Alpha Fleet doing something, Delta Fleet doing a different patrol, and Yankee Fleet doing a different patrol. And the players having to work around those patrols. So when that Alpha 97 gets within the area that I set the first marker, it's going to pop up and it's going to go reassigning. It's a bit odd that that's going off ahead. I wonder if that's like overpowered or something. Don't know. Where did I set my second patrol marker? Yeah, look, the ship's upgraded. That's a bit annoying. .9137. I didn't set it that far up, did I? Okay, let's... Control. That stayed when I cycled out of here as well, actually. So it's going to go corner, corner, corner. Hegemony. Hegemony fleet, screening fleet, light fleet. See, look, that stays, so I need to sort that out. I'm going to move this out of the way actually while I'm watching these guys on their patrol route. See, those two haven't gone for it, but those two have. Oh, those two are coming back around. So in the background I'm switching that patrol button that doesn't fit, doesn't disappear at the minute. See, they've gone to that point and they're waiting for them to gather now. So once they have gathered there, the next point they're going to go to is here, and the next point they're going to go to is here, and then back, and they should do that triangle constantly until I delete them or they die from enemy fire. There's the reassigned AI. Did I set it there then there? Oh, that does not equal, it's not going to work, is it? Right. Because that's now going to waypoint 3. So, the problem is, and there does not equal. Generally I tend to avoid does not equal because it's kind of like an open thing. So here, if it's inside there and it doesn't equal 1, set it to 1, but that should sort it out. See, if it's in location 1, then it should say reassigning waypoint 2, but it's saying reassigning waypoint 1. But it should only say reassigning waypoint 1 if it's inside that sphere. If it's inside this first sphere, which it should do, because it should be going to waypoint 1, and then when it's inside waypoint 1, and it should say that. Oh, look here. That's all the same. No. Patrol 1 to 2, Patrol 1 to 3. Patrol 1 is 1, Patrol 1 is 2, Patrol 1 is 3. Patrol 1 is 2. Reassign AI to waypoint 1. Oh, no, that should be to waypoint 2. Reassign AI to waypoint 3. 2, 1. Okay, let's check that, and let's see what it pops up with when it gets to waypoint. So when it gets to waypoint 1, it should trigger that, and it should say reassigned AI to waypoint 2, and it should give me waypoint 2 coordinates, which are Patrol X11, Patrol Z11, Patrol. That should be 1, 2. Okay. Can I do a find and replace? One. Okay. So that should be with 1, 3. Because it should be going to waypoint 3. And this should be 1, 2. Because it should be going towards waypoint 2. Because then what it's doing is coming up with the same stuff over and over, isn't it? Right, okay. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. We'll check that out. Oh. 2, 1, 2, 2. Oh, that's a silly one now. So it needs to be 12 needs to actually be 21. 12. Oh, no. 12 needs to be 21. And then 13. Just check it doesn't conflict with anything. It needs to be 31. There we go. Right, okay. So point the throttle towards patrol X-ray 31. And X-ray 31 will be set as 0 here, and then will be reset with this code and the GM keys. Three one, where are you? Here we go. 3 1 2 1 1 1. Save that. Start here. Okay, so the first waypoint is definitely working. The second waypoint and the third waypoint wasn't working, so that is what we are testing now. See if it all comes together. So I'll have waypoint 1 here, waypoint 2 here, waypoint 3 here, a triangle there. So spawn. I want to set patrol. So I want patrol 1, patrol 2, patrol 3. I want hegemony. I want to spawn the hegemony forces here. They spawn, they go to patrol marker 1, patrol marker 2, patrol marker 3, clear that. The patrol disappears this time, good, because I was fixing that button in the background while these guys were just moving. They are all should be turning to that point there. The variable's gone through to find out which one actually exists to set that up, so it's checking for it existing, and then it's going to be checking that, and it'll have checked for this alpha 33 here. It's a little bit annoying that these don't get the pathfinding switched on as quickly as these guys. That might improve when I've finished the AI code and it takes its direction from its leader instead of just being random. How long has this been going? Wow, almost a 2-hour stream here. And I want to be going to bed soon. So what's going to happen is these are going to get to that point anyway, and these are going to turn into it. What I could do is increase the number of points. So point 1 is where they're going to spawn. Point 2 is where they're going to move to. Point 3 and point 4 to avoid this problem. Okay, you see they're coming around now. Their pathfinding's kicked in. Okay, let's just sit and watch these guys for a little bit. Alpha 97's got to where it needs to be. So this is something as a game master when you're playing through this, and you say you're setting up a patrol route, you've got to be mindful that the ships are going to take a few minutes first before they actually head towards the markers that you've placed, so you need to be really mindful of placing those markers on your patrol route, setting up the enemies, and if they don't do it exactly as you want straight away, you've just got to wait for that pathfinding to update and actually get moving again. Now I should see this moving towards over here change when they get inside it. Now we have seen it do it already once. Reassign to waypoint 2. There's the new, oh never mind. There's the new coordinates. So those should now match the coordinates for waypoint 2, which should be here. Now again, they're probably going to take a little bit of time just to catch up with what they're doing and move to the next marker. So they might go up here a little bit and then down, hopefully. So they'll gather here and then they'll move down here. all this extra stuff in the AI stack will go into the AI stack when I've finished, because all that extra stuff there is so it reacts to things. And actually what will happen is these bottom bits, like this player, AI, ship, station, comms orders, will probably end up coming out or moving in the AI stack. So the point throttle is the very basic AI stack. God, it's taking a while to react here, aren't they? If I look at the coordinates for patrol 2, so it's patrol X 2 1, patrol X 2 1 7149 89227. Go back to this 71491 89227. Yeah, so they do have the right point, they're just not going towards it. Who is the leader? You're the leader. Your pathfinding switched on, and you should be moving towards that target. I know this one's the leader because it says leader leads here. It says I'm the commander of this fleet. Give my own target and destination to the fleet, and these guys have got follow leader, assuming my fleet leader's target and destination, and this one needs follow leader as well because it needs to assume his own target and destination. But this AI is just not flicking over, is it? See, now those look like they got too far ahead, that's why they stopped. I wonder if this is like dilapidated or something, because it's lagging so far behind. Ship is underpowered, yeah. Okay, what happens when I delete this? Delete selected. So one of these will now take over being the leader. There we go, that one's taking over being the leader. Still not pointing towards where I want it to go. Or is it? No. So it is working to reassign them to new things, but then all this AI code isn't working. I think what I'll do is I'm going to strip it all out. And I'll rebuild it later on. But I'm going to strip it all out just to see if I can get them to follow this patrol route. Maybe if I remove that leader leads, maybe that's confusing them. But I'll have to rebuild it because like the launch fighter code needs to be in there. It's easy enough to rebuild though. I'm going to grab this, drop it in here, and here, and here. So this is when when I'm coding the sandbox and somebody says, oh yeah, can you just tweak the AI? This is why it takes so long. It's not just a matter of just going, oh yeah, I'll just quickly tweak the AI. You gotta go through and duplicate it so many times and then paste it in, and yeah, it does take a while. And I must admit, AI is the most challenging part of scripting I've found, because it doesn't do what you want it to do as quickly as you want it to do it. Yeah, it's great for solo games, but for mission scripts it can be challenging to get your head round, and for a GM as well, frustrating when it doesn't pick up what you want it to do quick enough. Right, so what I'm going to do is in here, now I've stripped out that AI, I'm going to use this, I'm going to copy it and paste it, and then I'm going to change that 1-1. So I'm just going to get this to speed up the process, grab that, go in here, grab all this, and delete it. Really what I should do with the music in the background is I should have it on a single playthrough with a shuffle perhaps, and not looping, because at the minute it loops, so I don't know how much music's played and how much has gone past, so it's just going to keep going and going in the background. And it's, to be honest with you, it's just kind of working music. I can hear it as well, it's just working music in the background, but I imagine that after a while it gets a bit repetitive if you're listening. Although if you're listening to it, I don't know, people have to tell me. And if nobody says anything, then nobody says anything. Like I say, each time I'm trying to go on and get a couple bits more music to replace it, or to add to it, so the playlist will hopefully get longer and longer, more varied as we go along. Similar things will be cropping up though. Replay song. Did I get all the music that I wanted actually download? No, there's like 4 more tracks that could go in there. Sorry, I'm just altering the music slightly again. Second time. And I'm gonna click it off loop, so this time it's not gonna loop. There we go, so it'll reset again. Now that's something different that I don't think we've had. Okay, so patrol route 2-1 set up, patrol route 3-1 set up, patrol route 1-1 is set up, all that's set up. So it will reassign correctly. Right, let's see what happens with that. So minimize, start. The nice thing is we got rid of the crash. So earlier it was, if you just joined now, earlier it was crashing. It was really annoying because I couldn't work quite out why it was crashing until I found out it was to do with the AI not being set properly. Oh, I did have somebody watching a moment ago and they disappeared. Maybe they dropped in for a little bit, maybe they've rewound, I don't know. Set AI type, patrol AI. I must admit this is quite a long broadcast and I can't see somebody watching it all the way through from start to finish. I mean, a big 2-hour broadcast. If they want to skip through bits, maybe somebody in the comments can put me some key markers, some dedicated person who wants to go through and see. Right, okay. So they are turning onto that first target, which was up here, so they're not turning quick enough. Come on. Oh. There we go. They're all heading towards the right target now. That's good. So once they've got to that first target, it'll switch to their second target. Once they've got the second target, they'll switch to their third. So I'm going to leave it running. I'm just going to sit and I'm just going to watch it to make sure it works. And then I think tomorrow I'll come back and I'll rebuild those AI stacks. Are a little bit more complicated, I think. Just turn that music down a tiny bit. Although, actually, I'm going to be quiet for this one, so I might turn it up a little bit more. There, okay, so the target's not over there, it's up here. It's the thing with the pathfinder, it takes so long just to pick up exactly where it needs to go. But now that it has, just hope they don't get stuck on each other. Oh, reassigned to waypoint 2. Patrol change complete. They're now heading towards waypoint 2. The point throttle's changed. Okay, something else to consider with these, I think, when I'm doing the AI is the speed that they're moving at. So the Game Master can increase the speed of these ships independently, so if they feel like they're not patrolling quick enough, they can do. But I might actually set the AI code so that the speed that they're moving at is a little bit quicker. Shame I can't just skip some of this music while it's playing. I've heard this one like 4 times now.
Wildcat in the jungle with dangerous claws. Movement she anticipates, a sight is set on her prey. Like stars in the darkest night, crystallize, fascinate. If you wanna stay alive, if you don't wanna be her prey, don't stand in her way. Run, run, run away. Crystallize, 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 watching her prey.
There we go, reassigning to waypoint 3. They are turning. So they're now turning to their third waypoint. And then when they get to waypoint 3, they should reassign to waypoint 1. And then waypoint 2, then waypoint 3. And they will keep going round and round and round in this loop. Forever, basically. It's a shame that it's only 1 patrol, so that's the next bit. I need more patrol numbers, so that I can have more patrols going on at once. I also need to duplicate it so that this fleet could be called fleet B, C, D. So that's another one, but that's the priority. So when they can be called B, C, D, E, F. And then duplicating it so I've got more than 1 patrol that it can be. So with this patrol route as well, actually, what could happen is the game master, I'm going to turn that down a bit, the game master could say, right, I want an enemy fleet and I want it to come through here and attack this base. So they could have Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 and have a particular attack approach that they want. If I set the AI up correctly so that it'll attack any base within 1,000, then they just put a marker 3 within 1,000 of that base of the target. Or they could have the ship start here, have marker 1 and attack there, marker 2 attack there, marker 3. So they could plan out an attack as well. So not just having them patrol through an area, they could have them specifically attack bases. And if I do multiple patrols, then for example I could have a Targoth group come in here and just do its thing, but I could have a Krallian group come in here with a specific, that being its specific target, and an Arvonian group coming in here with that as its specific target, and then the Targoth group would just chase the players or attack as it does. Your Krallian group would attack this target and your Arvonian group would attack this target. So then it would mean the game master hasn't got to control each of those elements to get them in place. It means he'll be able to just set the routes that he wants those to take, or she wants those to take, to get to those locations. I could use this patrol code to have like a target code, so instead of having 3 waypoint markers for the patrol, I could switch it and call it target, and then I could just have 1 waypoint, so I could have those 3 in and it'd just be 1 waypoint because that's your target, that's your target, that's your target. But having 3 actually allows you to do 3 targets, and they could do like attack that target, if you're still alive attack that, and then that. I think that would be a bit more versatile. Or if all 3 want to be around here, they could just adjust the route that it goes on, or just put them on a straight line, so they know definitely which way they're going to go. So I think 3 is going to be a good balance for now, and then multiple patrols is going to be the important bit. That's the potential I've got with it now. Now that it's working, there's a lot of options that I can use, the way I duplicate this code and the way I change this code. So let's have a look. Oh, where's it gone? Sorry, I posted in the TSN RP community Discord chat about them doing it. So if anybody's interested, then you can watch. Somebody said, yeah, put it up. I'd like to rewatch them. They're probably a bit too long, to be honest, and I should probably be a bit more succinct with them and focus on something and come back to it so that it can be broken down into smaller chunks. But somebody else has said that although it's not an area of personal interest, it's a nice community service, thank you. Just made me laugh. Right, I'm going to leave it there. It is 20 past midnight. I didn't want to go on this long. I'm going to leave it there. I've got it working. This is the thing with this kind of coding. It takes forever just to get it working. And then once it's working, it's a matter of duplicating it and tweaking it and making sure it works in all instances that I want it to work in. So I am going to finish up there. Thank you for watching. If you did watch the full, how long is it? 2 hours and 7 minutes. To be perfectly frank, I think you're nuts. But at the same time, I hope it was interesting, and I'll keep putting stuff up just for people to watch. These are just full live streams, so I'm sure somebody will go through, or hopefully somebody could go through and put some markers in. Maybe I'll go through it at some point and do it myself. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time, where I don't know what I'll work on. Maybe that code I'll just finish up in the background without live streaming it, because there's nothing much else of interest there. And then maybe if I start duplicating it, I'll show how I duplicate that code to create patrol 3, 4, 5 and 6, for example. But you don't need to see how I do it for different letter names now. You've seen how I've done it for one. I'm just going to basically find and replace, and I explained earlier as well about it. Alright, see you next time.